We're here, first episode Tells and Fails of a Boss with your host Kieran Davis, aka Ken. And we have a very special guest here. I'm very excited to start this off. You're going to go ahead and introduce yourself whenever you're ready.
Hey everybody, it's Alicia Tarver. You can find me on Instagram as LeashMoney247, but serial entrepreneur, avid reader, and I'm here to tell you about my fail as a boss.
Let's go. So let's dive straight into it. Okay, so if you can tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, so the business that I came to share my story about today was my 360 photo booth business. It was Life of the Party 360. It was a photo booth business that me and a good friend of mine we did together, two Black women, and we did it for almost a year before I decided to kind of dissolve the business and just get out of the industry.
But I also know that you've ventured into a new business.
Correct. So it originally started out as a virtual assistant business, but it's slowly turning into a project management consulting slash technical work business. So I'm really excited about that. But it started to develop into that niche once I let the photo booth business go and was
Yeah.
able to put a lot more energy into it. And I'm really enjoying it, and it's really rewarding.
Sure, for sure. So I would ask, so because there's different fields, different lanes you had to jump. So I would ask, how did you come up with both of those business ideas?
Yeah, so the first business that I actually started was a virtual assistant business.
Okay.
My mentor, it's just Annalisa on Instagram. She started a virtual assistant community, and she has a course that she teaches basically on how to start a virtual assistant business, how to become a virtual assistant, and how she started her own virtual assistant business. And she did this all during the pandemic while working a full-time job, working remotely well too. And it just seemed like a no-brainer because it was skills that I already had, technical skills like typing, administrative skills, stuff that people really honestly just didn't want to do, and they're willing to pay somebody good money to do it. So I'm like, this would be easy, a low overhead, didn't cost a lot of money to start it. The course, I even got it on sale. It was probably only like $100. I think it's maybe like $1,000 now, just
Wow.
because
Yeah.
it's so big. And even that $100 investment, it even got me access to the community. I am still in a Slack group where they post jobs weekly for people looking for virtual assistant work, even technical graphic design work. And I even had my first four-figure month
Oh,
this
wow.
May.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so was really excited about that, and it's something that I really enjoy. And at this point, it's turning into consulting business where people are really just paying me for my brain, and I'm really excited and I'm really grateful for that.
That's really what it is. Because like a lot of people, when they think about a business, and that's why I love the idea that you're providing a service, helping people do whatever for their business. A lot of people, when they think of a business, people are thinking about like product based, and you're entering a lane where you're providing a great service. And it's like a person can go work for a company 25 years and administrative assistant. You're doing this virtually, doesn't tie you down. You can work with as many people you're able to do and even expand that. So I can see the vision moving forward. Like, you can grow it and you don't even have to do this work anymore. You can hire your own team of all these jobs. So I think that like ceiling on that is high, and I love that. I love that. And with the photo booth, how'd you venture into that? How'd that idea come about?
So the photo booth business, it was just honestly the 360 videos were really popular, just seeing them and kind of wanting to get into that industry before it got really big, wanting to be one of the first people to start it.
Right.
But that was also, I feel like one of the things that contributed to me not wanting to do the business anymore is it being so new and there not being like a lot of research and not being like a lot of models for me to look at on how to like structure my business, how to run my business, or how to make it run easier for me. But I remember I was sitting here like going back and forth. I was like asking my friend, I'm like, you have to help me, like if I get this booth. And she's like, yeah. So I bought it. I even remember I waited like a month for it. It was on back order, so it took a while. I even had to like give their customer service a hard time. Like I
Yeah.
remember fighting like tooth and nail for this booth. And when it finally came, I probably had it for about a good 6 months before I even booked like my first event. But yeah, the photo booth business, just trying to get into that industry before like it started to grow or before it got too big. Just trying to get on the next new thing.
Yeah, no, but for sometimes it's hard to tell, you know, like sometimes you jump on something and it's the perfect wave and you can ride this thing out, you know. The demand, you know, like the prospect, the customer wasn't really that aware. So it was kind of like that information gap. And you're just kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna let the other people deal with that, trying to educate everybody, and I'm a pivot, you know. I think that's a there's a book by Seth Godin about, it's called The Dip. And it's like, you know, it's genius to know when to jump off something and go to the next thing versus staying on the same thing too long, and now you're like, I'm burnt out, you know. So I think that's like a it's power. We were taught that like quitters never win, but it's like, man, you know how many times somebody got to stop before they win?
And then I won't even like sit here and get philosophical about it, but that's the result of capitalism, I think,
Yeah,
where it's like you have to, oh, if you just work hard and you don't give up, then everything just like works out. But sometimes it's like, it's not giving up. Sometimes you just have to like you said, you have to pivot. You have to reevaluate and think about like working smarter rather than like working harder.
right.
And I just think about everybody in my corner, and I appreciate them for doing this. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to make it seem like I don't want people to encourage me to keep going when I don't want to. But in certain situations, I didn't. That's not what I needed at the moment. And even like now, I've come to terms with this business. I think growing up, my mom's probably never let me quit absolutely anything. So I just have that mindset myself. But I'm okay with giving up this business. I don't feel like it's a failure. I honestly feel like it's the best decision as far as like my mental health and thinking about me as a human and running this business. But I've come to terms with it, and everybody in my corner is just still trying to like give me advice and give me ideas on like how I can make it work and how I can. And I'm just like, that's just not what I need. I'm
Yeah.
okay. Like I appreciate it, but I'm done with this.
Like I'm just waiting for somebody to say, "Let it go, let it go." Like encourage me, like see that this is you know overwhelming. And like I like how you said that, because before I get into the next question, that it's not really a loss because you're learning. And you know, and entrepreneurship is this long road that's gonna go on with so many different obstacles. And it's like if you look at things as a loss, it's gonna entrepreneurship will eat you alive, you know. But if you're literally looking at it like no matter what happens, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm building, I'm you know, you're gonna win. That's a winner's mentality. I love that you said that. And next question I'm gonna get into, what motivated you to start your business?
So honestly, I was at a point where I had just graduated college and I just thought about like money. And I think this was like before they like extended like the loans again. And
Yeah.
I'm like, gonna have to start like paying these. I gotta come up with a plan.
Yeah.
But I, and then I want to be very careful when I say this because I'm a big advocate for education.
Right.
I'm not saying everybody needs to go to college, and I do think college is overpriced.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm just giving this disclaimer. I want to say this with grace. But I was like, yeah, I graduated college, and this doesn't like guarantee any type of income. I had already like I take care of myself, so I had my own place, and I was working full time the whole time going through school.
Right.
So it was like I got this degree, and I was happy. But after like graduation and everything like really settled, it was just like, okay, like now, like how am I going to make money? Like, so I was trying to think of multiple streams of income. So I now I'm looking for more passive streams of income.
Yeah.
But at the time I was just thinking of like different like side hustles that I could use to bring in money and possibly even like in just money to invest, whatever, just bring in more money to try and like build myself up. But long story short, I wanted that to be a side hustle. And what I've learned is that is a business. And me by myself, I just didn't have the resources to run that.
Right.
So it was getting to the point where I wasn't going to break even for a while. It was a very slow grind. And I'm just like, I'd rather quit while I'm ahead and use this time, which I feel like is way more valuable than any amount of money that I put into this business, and to actually invest that time into something that was more productive, something that would actually
Right.
make me money, but at the same time, not necessarily like make me happy, but make me feel fulfilled, or at least I didn't despise it like I did with this
Right.
photo
For
booth.
sure. Yeah. And for the audience, because Alicia's very well spoken. So to kind of dumb down what she said for anybody who may not been able to follow, basically, guys, like there's so many different businesses you can start, but for one, you want to attach yourself to something that you feel passionate about, that you're gonna want to do on the days you don't feel like doing anything. You know, set aside from that, you also have to think about the capital you're investing in something and weigh out profit versus loss and what you're gonna have to do to become profitable. So what she's saying is like once she realized that, when she's trying to figure out that variable of like, okay, this is what I'm gonna have to do to break even or to grow. That's when you start to really realize your strengths and weaknesses. And like I know you were saying before, having a partner, you're probably like, okay, they're gonna carry the things that I might be weak at, and then it doesn't always go that way. But the fact that she was able to pivot and move forward, she learned so much from that. And it's just here to show y'all, like, sometimes the losses are more valuable than the wins. So I love that you did that. Next question is, did you always want to start a business, or was it something that just fell in your lap, like you were kind of saying, or was it something always in the back of your mind?
No, it was, again, graduating college and just learning through the pandemic as well too, like one stream of income is just close to none. And the only way to actually build wealth isn't by working a job, is by like investing or having a business, having your own assets, something that like you own, and just learning about like LLCs and the benefits of having a business, the benefits of being a business owner. I mean, and saying that there's some cons to it as well, but just learning about that. But no, honestly, I really had no desire, like before I
Yeah.
graduated, to run a business
I think
whatsoever.
that's awesome though. It's like it just kind of fell in your lap. Like you already had all the tools for it. Then you're like, you know what? I'm a side hustle. But then you're like, dang, I'm running a business for real. I think that's amazing. It's like people always find where they're supposed to be. So sure. And next question is because I like to, like the mentality. Like there's always this thing on online about the different mentalities. So I wanted to ask, like, how would you describe yourself? 3 words. 3 words that best resonate with you.
Oh wow, this put me on the spot. I have to talk about myself.
Yeah.
Oh God, you said we were talking about the business. You didn't say I have to talk about me. No, I'm kidding. So I would say very analytical. I'm big on if I'm big on the data, if it shows something, then I'm going with the data. I don't go off of like my my gut feeling or anything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Not all the time, but I'm very like, well, the stats say this.
Okay.
So if it looks like a duck, then it's
Doug.
obviously a duck. Right.
Sure.
I would say very empathetic. I'm a big empath. I definitely, I don't want to sound like, oh, I want to make an impact on the world, but I do want to make an
Yeah,
impact
for
on the
sure, for
world.
sure.
I definitely want to impact the youth. And I'm a big, like into social justice, anything dealing with especially Black people or women or queer people. But just very like passionate about people and just humans in general. And I'd say I'm very blunt. I can be very, I can bite my,
Honest.
yeah, I can be very, very honest. I would say definitely honest.
Sure, for sure. I think all those are powerful for real. Like like honestly, all those are good to have around. Um, I like that. I like it's awesome hearing people describe themselves. So I think that's amazing. And the next thing, because I know virtual assisting and even with the 360 booth, what are 3 apps that you feel like literally like carry your success as an entrepreneur?
Definitely. I was going to say Canva, but people probably don't know what I'm talking about. Canva. Definitely. a lifesaver with any type of like marketing, any type of materials that you want, any type of communications, deliverables you need for your customers. You can make it all in Canva, even for like your own personal life. It's the best. Another app I would probably say, it's not really an app though. Just like Ring Central, just having just like my business phone, just really just having everything like centered. And I'm a big, I don't want to say Adobe, but
yeah,
Adobe's very complicated for some people, so I don't want to say
for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to say it like it's just like an easy app. But yeah, but that's the three, just like Adobe,
for sure.
Adobe Creative Suite, Canva, and that's it. Did I say a second one?
And you said Ring Central. What exactly is that? You said that give like a different number for your business?
Yeah, so it's just like it's a business phone. It's an app on your phone, and then you can have all your calls routed there. People can text you. You can have different business different people. Yeah.
And it's like a subscription based thing?
Yeah, so you can pay for the whole year. It's usually about like $45 a month, but if you pay for the whole year, it's I think like 500 or something
Not
like
bad.
that.
And I know that really comes in handy for what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. And then it's good too, just to see like how much traffic like I'm actually like getting.
Right.
That was the one thing with the photo booth business. It wasn't people not being interested. It was just people not wanting to pay, or just me just not wanting to do it at all. So
for sure. So I'm pretty sure what all it is. So pretty sure with all of this, that's what we're here for, talk about the thing. I just wanted to kind of get a little bit more insight with you. So I would say, and you can talk about both or whatever one that you want to share more. What was the hardest part in starting your business?
The hardest part in starting a business, I think for me was really just like getting my name out there. It ended up being easier because there weren't too many 360 photo booth businesses once I started putting myself in spaces. And specifically the hardest part was the marketing, because as I mentioned before, I didn't have any events for like the first 6 months. So it was like, didn't even really find a reason to invest in the software just yet, so you could get like the whole full effect with like the graphics and stuff. So the marketing wasn't the best because it was just kind of just videos of me and my friends, which it ended up being like farther. But I remember I had a friend who I went to school with. We went to school for corporate communications together, and she's getting into like advertising and marketing. And she made a commercial for me. And I remember we threw a whole party ourselves just so we could get that.
Oh, that's dope.
Just for like our Instagram. Yeah, we threw a Halloween party. So just definitely just getting my name out there, and not being from Pittsburgh and not really like knowing anybody. So just getting my name out there, that was definitely the hardest part.
And I feel like with anything, like that's got, like, if you start a business and that's not the hardest part, like you literally, like you're lucky, you know what I mean? Because like I feel like that's just the hardest part in general. Like honestly, everybody's gonna struggle with that. So it's like the fact that that was the hardest part means that you were already knowledgeable, which you're about to get into. You know what I mean? And plus your ability with analytics probably helped you do a lot of the research and get a lot of information out the way. So I think that's amazing that that's the hard part, because that's really the hard part for real, so for sure. So I would say the next thing is, what is a mistake you wish you could have avoided when it comes to building your business?
Again, research. I would say like, okay, there's not a lot of research out there about 360 photo booths, but at the same time, I feel like I could have just done better due diligence myself. Even with like different situations I had with my business, dealing with like different vendors, if I would have did a little bit more like due diligence, then a lot of the stuff would have probably worked out better. So just making sure that you're well aware of what you're getting into, or at least to the best of your ability.
Right. So with that, which we understand, because I'm a big advocate on mental health. So with everything that you had to go through, everything you had to learn, all the lessons, how did you manage your stress with building these businesses?
I didn't, and I think I'm still kind of like recovering from that, like just being stressed out for like
Yeah.
months. Um, but I mean, I was, even before like I started the business, I was in therapy, so that did actually, I'm lying, that did actually like help me like cope with it a lot. But yeah, besides going to therapy, I didn't have time I felt like to really like do anything, or even just like the mental space to even sit there and think about like my self-care or taking care of myself.
You feel like that has improved over time?
Yeah, definitely. I was watching a seminar by another Black woman. She was a DI consultant formerly, and now she's like an empowerment coach, and she runs her
Okay.
own business. But the one thing she said, she was just like, make sure that you're choosing your wellness over everything else. And
True.
I remember I was having a conversation with like my brother, because it's hard right now for everybody with
Yeah,
everything going
yeah.
on in the world. And I feel like I've been having a lot of like solemn conversations with people, the people that I love, the people around me about it. And the piece of advice I've been trying to give people is to just take care of yourself. You definitely vibrate at a higher frequency when you're taking care of yourself physically and mentally and actually taking time. I'd probably say like, though I may not always be like as productive as I want to be these past like couple months, but I've been feeling good, and I've really
Yeah.
just taken time to like actually prioritize myself, and it's showing. My business is flourishing. I'm flourishing. I actually like feel good. I've been taking time off and being intentional about my time and being intentional about my self-care.
Amazing. And I would assume it's less stress with your assistance business than it was with photo booth.
Yeah, definitely. Because it
Yeah.
was the photo booth business. It just took a lot of my personal resources too. And like I said, like I'm by myself, so I can't really like spare those resources anymore, because I don't really have like another like reserve to go replenish that resource if I just put it all into this business. And then especially into a business that wasn't necessarily like even paying my bills, and I still had to worry about doing that. Even for events, like thinking about taking off time for work and missing out on that type of money, because it wasn't, with, like I said, people didn't really want to like pay for the prices. People don't have a lot of disposable income right now. I'm understanding of that. I don't either. But at the same time, it was so much work that I had to do, and people wanted me to come work for so little. And I'm just like, I'd rather just do something that I don't necessarily have to work like physically harder for it. It may be a little bit more like mentally, but I'd rather do that than waste my resources. It was me transporting this in my personal vehicle.
Right.
Wish I would have, took more with like business credit and thought about like vehicles and how I was going to transport this and gas and mileage and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely am a lot happier not
Right. For sure.
not running that business anymore.
So do you feel like that just kind of created a lot of burnout for you along with the booth?
Yeah, so like the past year I've just been kind of doing the bare minimum. I guess we could call it surviving as far as like work. I mean, I'm not pushing myself, I'm not working a bunch of like overtime. I'm not,
Yeah.
even with the photo booth business, I was like, I'm not taking every single event. Like, I don't have to do this. If I want to take the weekend off, whatever, I'm not about to make myself feel like I have to do these events I hate. Um, but yeah.
Yeah. That's a part of it though. And like just learning that, like some people might feel like they have to do everything they could do, be everywhere they can be to be seen just to get their business out there. And it's like it does lead to burnout. I feel like that's a big part too, being able to tell yourself like it's okay to miss that. It's okay not to do this and not to take less on this out there.
Yeah, I've been giving myself a lot more grace when it comes to work and not overworking myself.
Feel that, man. Sure. That's all about this self care, taking the time out to love yourself. end of the day, the business, you got to run the business. You know what I mean? The business run you. Now it's, you know, it's a little bit more challenging. So, let's say here. So with all of that, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of moments like that. It was about 6 months span before you got your first. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are starting a business are probably going through the same thing currently, or stopped because of this. So what did you do to help with your self doubt from the doubt of other people?
Just a lot of positive talk, because honestly, like, I can't even say like I actually helped myself with the self doubt. It was just kind of like I had put a lot into this business. Like, it
Yeah,
was kind of my livelihood, and I was making it my livelihood, I can't even say like I necessarily like positively dealt with the self doubt.
yeah. Did you like something I like to do? Did you ever like keep a journal for yourself with the journey?
No, and I always said that though too, just because I think once I lost interest with the business, then it was like I'm not so much concerned about like
Like
documenting.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel you on that. So I'm gonna kind of pivot here because I don't want to all be like on a down note. So what's your new business or just entrepreneurship endeavors? Where do you hope to be in 5 to 10 years?
So 5 to 10 years from now, I plan on um developing my business more as a project management consulting firm. And I'm stepping away from like the customer service side of like virtual assistant.
Yeah,
I'm trying to become more niche. I being an empath, I do have to limit my energy to the type of people that I deal with, and that will
yeah.
go as far as my clients. So I'm hoping to become a lot more niche, where I can be a lot more selective with my clients. Not saying like I don't, but I want to
I know
work
what
with
you mean.
yeah, I want to work with a certain type of
Yeah,
professional. And when I say that, I mean like in a certain type of industry. Like, I usually like to work with like academics and professional development consultants, or even like people working in diversity, equity, and inclusion like initiatives. But I hope to develop myself as a consultant. I'm working on even taking some project management classes. And I'm working on developing myself as a project manager. And I hope to be doing that full time, and I hope to just be working remote and not working any type of job where I have to show up to
right.
somebody's place 5 days a week,
Yeah,
or and I really hope that the virtual assistant slash professional development consulting, I just hope it develops into something full time, and I hope to expand my team, hopefully have my own assistant, probably in the next 2 or 3 years. And even possibly creating some of my own professional development resources and teaching other
yeah.
people how to start their own virtual assistant business. Maybe I can have my own virtual assistant academy, just like Just Annalisa, who I bought
Yeah.
mine off of.
That's amazing for real. So you basically like I'm trying to get all my freedom back, all my time back, and then reach back and put people on, and but also I like the fact that you said you're also trying to align more with the things that you feel, more empathetic with or more attached to as well. You really want to get into those industries. I think that's amazing. I don't really know that market, that niche, as far as who the competitors are. So that would be another thing I would ask. So with your new business, with the online assistance, what separates you from your competitors?
So typically I'll go ahead and I'll define my competitors. They're typically companies who have like virtual assistants in like foreign countries, and they'll typically work for like cheaper prices. But of course, when you pay cheaper prices, you get cheaper work. Another thing too that like separates me is again the quality of work, and it's a more personalized experience. One of my clients that I've been working with on a project, we meet every week. Even if it's just to sit there and talk through their ideas.
Yeah.
It's just a support. It's personalized, but still at the same time, you don't have to be so involved.
Right.
I'm self-motivated. I can do stuff on my own. I'm very a self-paced type of worker. So at the same time, you get that personalized experience where you are hands on your products, you are hands on your business, but at the same time, you can kind of like step back and just kind of speak your ideas through and not have to worry about like actually doing them. And I can just kind of you give me the resources and I'll just put it all
Sure,
together
for
for
sure.
you.
You're like those guys. They're just trying to get their, they might do it cheaper, but it's gonna be cheaper. And I'm
Yeah.
going, you're trying to actually build relationships. Actually, you actually care about the project or business that you're assisting. So you actually see their vision, and you want to, and you have the ability to, like, you don't have to micromanage me or anything like that. We're going to take care of it. We're going to get it done, and it's going to meet your expectations. So dude, I'm pretty sure everybody got things they don't want to do, and they, want somebody to take care of it, and they're going to make sure that person cares, because people are emotional about their businesses. They're emotional about their investments, so they really, all in all, want to feel like the people they're working with care about their business. All right. So what advice would you give for anybody who is, an aspiring entrepreneur?
Um, so for anybody who is an inspiring entrepreneur, before you try and start any type of business, before you write a business plan, before you do anything, really honestly figure out your why.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have and I feel like this is something, it may sound very cliche. I feel like every entrepreneur says this, but if you don't have your why on the hard days, it's going to be really, really, really hard to keep going.
Or
Yeah. So just have your why for why you're doing something. And another thing, don't think just because you're good at something, you can start a business.
yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. There was something I was I don't even know where I got this from. I'll be looking at so much different content, and someone said that a great idea with poor execution will not work versus a regular mediocre idea with great execution will beat that idea out. And it's just the fact that a lot of people go into businesses with the idea of, like, I'm a hustler, I'm trying to make money, I'm trying to do this on my own, trying to do all these things, escape the rat race. And
I
it's
don't want to
like,
work for anybody.
yeah, I want to be my own boss, but it's like, but why? Oh, because I'm just trying to, make some money. I'm just trying to make some money. And it's like, well, you can't tell the customer that. You know what I mean? Like, people want to buy into brands. So the fact that you say that, I love that, because it really is about your why. It really is about why are you doing this? And the best brands do that. I know that you are an avid reader. So for anybody, also for the entrepreneurs who are thinking like, I really want to get in this, I'm scared, I don't know what to do. What resources, what books would you recommend them to read?
So this one. So the E-Myth, life changing.
Even if it's not business based, something that you feel like might bring them closer to maybe finding their why, or anything like that.
Probably for me, I mean, I don't know. It will definitely help going back to making sure that you're your best self before like you try and do anything in life.
Yeah.
Set boundaries, find peace. It's I know her last name's Weber, but Dr. Weber, she's a psychologist, and it really connected back to a lot of like the issues I was having like in my relationships, with my money, with myself, just not even setting boundaries with my health as far as like eating or making sure that I'm working out. And it just showed a lot about, did I really respect myself as much as I thought I did? But that book was life changing for me. I feel like all Black people should read The New Jim Crow. I read that several years ago, but I feel like that book was life changing. And I like another one too, and this may sound I don't want to say weird. Weird's the wrong word, but the Autobiography of Gucci Man.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite autobiographies. Definitely. But me too. I'm also a big like fiction person. So, fiction, it's good. It creates empathy. It's good it's just good for your brain. It's good for your mental health. When I need to write, I'll start reading a lot of like fiction books. So anything fiction, I feel like that's good for like your mental health.
Oh, for sure. I like that. I need to do more fiction reading, honestly. I'll be reading a bunch of totally different stuff. But no, I might need to look at your library.
Yeah, definitely. And then if you don't have a library card, get a library card. I'm always
Yeah, for
telling them,
sure. For
check
sure, for
out your local
sure.
library. If you're worried about going back because you have funds from high school, don't. They're getting rid of them at most places. They have been doing it since the pandemic. Just make sure you bring back whatever books you do have.
I think I done lost some Jones. I ain't gonna lie.
It's okay. Just go talk to them. They'll work it out for you. They
Yeah, for
want you.
sure.
They miss you at the library, Ken. I promise.
I've been scared. I think I'm gonna be on a wanted poster in there. Like, hey boy, you owe 10,000.
Right.
Dang. Okay, for sure, for sure. Okay. So next question I got two more. All right, and this one is kind of grouped together here. What do you most enjoy about being an entrepreneur? Slash, what is the hardest part for you?
I mean, I guess I'll combine both those questions. I don't want to say like being an entrepreneur, I feel like is no choice to me. Um, just the way my brain is set up, not saying that I'm above a job or that I wouldn't work a job, but like working for people is just not good for my soul, especially for
Yeah.
people who aren't affirming of me. And then I feel like, especially as a Black person, especially as a Black woman, I feel like I need that option where like I can go work a job, but still at the same time, I have something that's built for myself. And I'm not dependent on these structures that weren't built for me to operate in. So yeah, like, and then I think the hardest part is just to honestly just keep going. Honestly, to not give up, because it's not the easiest thing. Like I think about like you're such great months. Like I had a 4-figure month this May, but then I've went months without any type of like income. So just to keep going. But the 4 months, I mean, the 4-figure months are enough like incentive to keep me
Yeah.
going.
For
I
sure, for
can't
sure.
go back now.
Yeah. I feel but I feel like what you said is so like it's like something that every entrepreneur would say. You know what I mean? Because like I felt that in my bones. It's like I be thinking to myself like at my job, people tell you like I got some big plans for you. I got big plans for you. You know, and typically when I work somewhere, I get a lot of promotions, and I just be thinking like I want to make more money, but I gotta wait for a position to come up, or I gotta work more hours, and then this rate is set based on what you make hourly, and it's like, man, I don't like this system. It's like if I have my own business, I want to figure out, okay, this is what we did last year. How can we double that, or how can we triple that? You literally could just put some more thinking into something, throw some more money into something, and literally, you don't gotta wait for nobody to open the door for you. You know? Like you really can put yourself out there and just, especially what your business is like when you get to the point where you can scale and hire people like that. Like now I can really push it further, bring in a lot more because we can take on more. Versus like a job, it's like it's only you got 40 hours base. You try to get overtime if it's available, and it's just like, so like I really agree. Like you don't want to try to like figure out a way to win in a game somebody else set up versus setting up your own game.
Exactly. And then like I said, like I'm not above a job. No disrespect to anybody who is doing that, because there's nothing wrong with operating in a system that
Yeah.
you have no choice but to operate in. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm all being an entrepreneur, I feel like it's a necessity, especially for Black people.
Yeah. So the last thing is, well, if somebody wanted to hire you as far as your virtual assistant to work with your business, how can they contact you as well as follow you on any social media?
So I am currently accepting new clients for some like virtual assistant work, but it is going to be more project management and business consulting. But my business, I can be booked at currencybetterthancash.com. That's CURRENCY, better than cash. And on social media, you can find me at atarver.va. But we'll put all the contact information in the video and stuff, but you can reach out to me if you just have any questions about being a virtual assistant, if you want to know about the industry or interested in starting your own. And especially I'm here for, I like to support people. That does not mean that I don't like to be invoiced as well, but at the same time, I have no problem
Yeah.
giving out free game. So a lot of people, when I tell them that I have a virtual assistant business, they go, "What is that?" So
No. Yeah.
if you've seen people advertising it and you just kind of wanted to ask, but you haven't been comfortable sliding in their DMs, come slide in mine and we can
For
talk.
sure. For sure. And is there anything left after that you feel like you want to get off your chest, or that you want to, tell to anybody who may be, kind of seesawing on the fence or trying to, start their own thing? Is there anything you want to throw out there?
So and I'll just say this just because like I've just had a really good month, but for any entrepreneurs who are scrambling for invoices or taking on work that you feel like is really just not even worth the stress, worth the time, worth your energy, if they don't pay your price, that is not your customer. I think now just because everybody's just in survival mode and everybody's just trying to make it and take care of themselves with the cost of living being so expensive right now, that we kind of just take on anything and it's just not worth it. And it degrades our experience as an entrepreneur, just dealing with stuff that's just completely just beneath you. And I just want to remind everybody that you don't have to.
That's free game right there, man. So we're gonna wrap this up. I appreciate everybody, man. For real. Tells and Fells of a Boss. Mac of all trades company. Let's go. Alicia, thank you for this. I feel like a lot of people are gonna get a lot of value from this. You guys make sure you follow her on all her socials. If you want to work with her, you already know where to go to. We're gonna link that down in the description as well. I appreciate y'all and all the games, so we can help anybody out who's trying to get further up in life, who's trying to actually take that step. Again, thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Next time.